Hey folks, welcome back. I hope you're well out there. So in today's video, I wanted to kind of pop on the camera, a little impromptu here, slightly planned, but basically I want to talk with you about what it feels like to actually heal, right? So this is something that doesn't get talked about a lot, at least in the all the YouTube sphere and the social media sphere about therapy and about healing. What does healing actually look like? What is personal transformation? What is deep resolution of our wounds and our issues actually feel and look like? And this is prompted partially by a post on Reddit that I'm going to read to you my answer. This is also prompted partially by some musings I've been having about understanding the role of personal development kind of goals versus the core of healing, right? So, one of the things I've been thinking a lot about is there's tons of content out here on YouTube and on the social media space about personal development and about trying to be certain ways. For example, how to motivate yourself or how to access self esteem or how to feel self love or these kinds of things that you should do or you should have or you should feel, with kind of the underlying implication that if you don't have those, you're broken or wrong, or it's something you need to kind of effort your way into. And I've been musing on this a lot. And so in this video, I also want to share with you my take on how to access all those states, because those are things I've struggled with too. And what I found is that as I healed, a lot of that stuff was effortless. So we'll break that down too. So join me as we kind of look at what healing looks like and feels like from different angles. Hopefully this will give you a little insight, maybe a little inspiration and motivation to keep going if you're struggling with your healing path. And hopefully this is useful. All right, let's get into it. So let's start with what I was just talking about in terms of what I've been musing on here. And the point I really want to convey to you here is that when you heal, when you actually heal, a lot of the stuff that we see in the personal development world as kind of things to work at or personal development issues, stuff like accessing self esteem, feeling ease in life, feeling joy, feeling motivation, being able to be mentally really present. Let me see, having boundaries, that's a big one, right? Having focus, being strongly like engaged with something that you care about that you know you need to do, having compassion for others, finding motivation to do the things you need to do in life. These are super common issues, right? These are things that people struggle with all the time. There's billions and billions of dollars being made in the personal development world around this stuff. And most of the messaging, right, is that this is stuff you need to kind of push and force and fight your way into and bootstrap your way into and effort your way into. And you should, do these things, right? What I'm going to say is that that should implies, of course, that there's some sort of resistance or obstacle or something stopping you from accessing these things. And what I've found as I've healed is that most of these things come absolutely naturally to me now. So let me keep it really real with you guys here. I am, going by my wiring and my conditioning, I am not wired out to be a highly motivated, highly focused, super engaged, easily driven, highly organized kind of personality. That's just not the personality I developed or that I was born with, however you want to think of that. We could get, that's a whole other conversation though, right? But I struggled with motivation. I struggled with getting things done. I struggled with boundaries. I struggled with not being swayed by my own immediate impulses. I struggled with focus for a long time, right? There's still things that I have to work out a little bit because maybe I'm not totally wired up for that. But what I found is since I've healed, those things come pretty damn easy to me, especially if I'm taking care of the basics. So if I'm getting good sleep, good diet, good exercise, right? And generally speaking, my mood is decent, right? I'm well regulated. I find that those things are very easy now. Focus, so much easier. Motivation, it's like so simple to me now that it's shocking how hard it used to be to me because it was such a drama and a struggle and hours of caffeine and morning rituals and this, that, the other to try to get myself into a state to do things. Now, a lot of times it's just like, oh, well, I should do that. And I just do it. Like it's literally that simple. Um, Things like presence, not be consumed by rumination and letting that eat up all your bandwidth, right? When you heal, suddenly you're just present. like more often than not, my mind is open and still and calm these days. And then if I need to actively think about something, I do, right? But it doesn't require me having to really like work at slowing down and calming down and okay, like it's not hard. Or being so, I'm not so distracted that I can't be present with someone, right? And side note to that, little secret to happiness: presence is your key to happiness. Mindfulness, presence in the moment, connection to the moment, really catching the details of life is where happiness is. Side note. Also, self-esteem. Since I've healed, that's not something I have to try to like hype myself up into feeling about myself. It's just something that's there. It's baked in. It's just a core essential thing. Ease, joy, a sense of flow in life, a sense of comfort in your own skin. These are not things that I have to like take supplements and adjust myself for like I used to. They're just there, right? And so the first message I want to convey to you here in this first section is that when you heal, a lot of these personal development issues you're probably struggling with, organization or motivation or contentment or happiness or knowing what you want to do in life or all that kind of stuff. I really think when you become well regulated, most of that stuff is pretty natural and effortless, honestly. And this is what I see with clients over and over and over. And so this is why, I come from a personal development background. I come from studying NLP. I come from studying hypnotherapy and coaching in that world, right? Which is all about how do we tackle these problems and solve them. And the strategies and the ideas there's a lot there, and it's cool and it's interesting and it's fun. But if I'm keeping it real with you guys, I think all of that is secondary to just being well regulated. And if you're just well regulated, that will knock most of that stuff out and make it so much easier, if not remove those issues altogether and open up the floodgates for your ability to function in the way you want to function. So that's my first message to you. But I wanted to read also to you in this next section this post on Reddit that I wrote a little while ago. It's actually a reply to a question about how it's felt as I've moved into feeling healed, feeling whole, feeling well regulated. And I want to start to convey to you what it's like. And the writing I did on this was pretty solid, so I want to share it with you because I think there's also a lot of projection, a lot of misunderstanding. I'll address that in a moment here about healing and what it's going to look like when you're done with your kind of therapeutic journey or complete enough. Who knows if we're ever totally done, but complete enough, right? So let me convey to you what someone asked and kind of my thoughts on that. So in this next section, like I said, I want to convey to you a bit of what my experience of feeling healed and feeling whole and recognizing that I'm healing has felt like and looked like in reality. So I think it's a common thing especially if we've been operating in a dysregulated, kind of mentally unhealthy, emotionally unhealthy place for a long period of time, so long that that's kind of our normal and we've forgotten what it feels like to feel centered and whole and safe and in well-being. It can seem so far away and so abstract from where you're at, to be healed and complete with your therapeutic journey for now, at least, that it can really like we can easily start to like build this whole projection on it of excuse me, thinking it's going to be bigger or better, or you're going to be more amazing or more free, or like we start to get grandiose with it, right? And so I want to help you understand the reality of what healing, in my experience, looks like, not only with myself, but what I see clients go through more often than not. And I want to try to convey to you what it's really like here. So I'm going to read you this Reddit post, and this is kind of a repost, honestly, that just popped up this week based on something that I wrote probably about a year ago, something like that. And so, or maybe a couple years ago. And I think the initial question was something along this lines of what does it feel like to actually be healed? What does it feel like as you're healing? How do you operate? What's different? How do you know you're healing? And again, a lot of people I think kind of blow this up to be imagining that you're going to be a superhero of some sort on the other side of healing, and maybe you will be. Who knows? But I can share with you what I've seen in myself and what I've seen in others. So, what I wrote. For me, a big part of it is the difference between our idealized imagination of how magical and perfect life will be when we're healed versus the reality that life is still life in many of the same ways. challenging, possibly painful, strange, complex, etc. Right? It's not that I'm the superhuman I thought I would become. Rather, I'm more comfortable with my humanity, including my flaws, my peculiarities. It's not that upsetting things don't happen. It's that I adapt to them in a healthier, balanced way, staying present to my internal reality and my external reality, staying adaptive and centered more often, right? Most of all, what's different is my emotional center of gravity, the emotional patterns I have, what emotions and beliefs I resonate with, the natural responses that come out of me to challenging moments, and things I feel when I think about the tough parts of the past are so much different. I don't resonate with the drama, the sadness, the grief, the pain, the shame and blame, the judgment, the anger, or confusion that I used to. I don't resonate with the music or media that expresses these feelings as much as I used to. I don't feel the need to feel these feelings as regularly the way I used to. And the memories of what happened are still there, but the pain and the meaning of them is neutral. It's the same as any other memory from any other aspect of my past. There's space inside of me where there used to be tension and density. There's calm where there used to be triggers. There's forgiveness where there used to be blame or shame, for myself and for other people. There's patience where there used to be urgency and neediness. Laughter where there used to be stress. Curiosity where there used to be judgment. Easiness where there used to be clinginess or pushing people away in relationships. In a big way, there's rapport with myself and with the world around me in an ongoing way. It feels simultaneously like a gift I give, but also the most natural thing. So, in a certain sense, it's a strange calm and mildness that takes the place of much of the intensity that defines the trauma response. But there are still other places where I'm much bolder in the past than I may have been, or more where I may have been more inclined to self abandon or people please. I'm stronger, I'm more assertive, more distinct in my personality and preferences. In knowing myself, valuing that, and being okay with putting it out there, right? So, but also with staying cool when it's not a right fit for others. Deep feelings like I love myself or I trust myself will just suddenly arise in me. And I know that's true at the deepest levels. It's quite profound. I find myself entertaining new ideas and desires that have never made sense to me in the past. Weird things that used to seem like blocks seem like the most normal things in the world to me now. In many ways, it feels more like the falling away of resistance than the boosting of joy and happiness to an extreme. What's left is more like balance, internal quietness, presence, openness, and personal flexibility. So, hopefully that kind of gets at it for you a bit here. I know I kind of stumbled on my reading a little bit there, was a little clunky in moments, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. Consider that as you heal, it's not that you become like some ecstasy, ball of ecstasy and joy all the time, and that you're like just this turbo big personality now. Maybe that'll be the case for you. But I think often it's more like the falling away of all the obstacles and the fears and the pain and the grief and the cycles of churning. And what you're left with is well being and presence and ease and flow and self trust and comfort with other people being as they are. And in my experience, that's much more of what healing looks and feels like than some big pie in the sky superhero kind of persona. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Hopefully, this is useful to give you a bit of an orientation on what it looks and feels like to heal. It doesn't mean that I don't have hard days. It doesn't mean that I'm not sad sometimes or angry sometimes or stressed out sometimes or, that life is suddenly easy all the time. You're still going to have that, right? But your response to those moments or to those situations or to those periods of your life will be healthier, will be stronger, will be more centered, will be um, much more clear, much more balanced, right? So again, hope this is helpful. Hopefully this is useful. I just want to share with you guys a bit about what this looks like so that you have an idea of what to expect as you progress. So anyways, we're going to wrap here because I know I'm kind of rambling, and I think that probably means I've said all I need to say. So much love to you. I'll see you guys in the next video.